Today I have a moveset video guide on how to use Iron Treads. If you do enjoy anything Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, make sure you subscribe to my channel as I upload Scarlet and Violet content every single day. I even used this Pokemon in a tournament yesterday that I'll leave a link to down below. So Iron Treads is really cool, right? It's basically Excadrill's typing with better speed and better defense and less HP and attack. So there's some differences right there. However, the big thing about this Pokemon is that it's obviously a Paradox Pokemon, so it does make use of booster energy. Quark Drive is also cool under electric terrain. Doesn't really matter too much because Pincurchin is like the main electric terrain setter, which is not that great. However, in Ubers with Miraidon, it can work really well. One of the best things about this Pokemon is its ability to Rapid Spin. And Rapid Spin also increasing its speed as well as getting rid of hazards. It's a great offensive stealth rocker and it's very good versus offense. Pokemon like Golden Go are outsped because of the booster energy, and you can knock them out with Earthquake. You're just really strong versus offense, and Ironhead is really good secondary stab, as besides like Rotom and Corviknight, you're hitting pretty much things for neutral or super effective damage in this metagame. And a lot of things like the Terra, it's a fairy type, so Ironhead's good versus that too. What I really like about this Pokemon is the fact that Earthquake into a Terra Ground Earthquake, and I really do love Terrestrialized Ground in this Pokemon, which is very easy to get, especially if you're playing in-game since that's its natural Terra typing, is that it 2-hit KOs a lot of decently bulky Pokemon. Annihilate, for instance, Earthquake into Terra Ground Earthquake knocks it out. Also, getting rid of your Steel typing means you're no longer weak to fighting or fire, which is pretty big when it comes to this Pokemon staring down a Golden Go. That might be Choice Scarf if you're not, or also something like a Skeledirge, which can live one Earthquake and then do massive damage, if not knock you out with Torch Song. Same thing with Specs Dragon Bolt's Flamethrower. So pretty cool on the offensive set. So the first set we have is, of course, I was kind of describing what it does, but it's the Booster Energy offensive set, max speed, max attack, either for defense or special defense. That doesn't really matter too much. It's a great offensive stealth rocker for offense. Right? Stealth Rock and Rapid Spin are your givens. You can get rid of hazards set by like Ting-Lu and things like that. Glamora's Toxic Debris ability, which sets up T-Spikes, and obviously the Spikes and Toxic Spikes, or excuse me, the Spikes and Stealth Rock that does set up as well. Earthquake is your main stab, and then you have Ironhead as well, Threaten Fairies. This is kind of just like your bread and butter of a Pokemon. This is really good if you're running on your own offense with Golden Go, Iron Valiant. Like, they appreciate a fast Stealth Rocker that can also get rid of hazards as well. Cool thing is, because of your base 90 HP and 70 special defense, Glamora doesn't actually knock you out with Earth Power because a lot of them are Focus Sash leads, so you can tank the hit Rapid Spin, which actually gets rid of Toxic Debris even while they're set in the same turn, and then knock it out with Earthquake in the following turn. It's really good because it's a great Stealth Rocker and Rapid Spinner that can actually beat a lot of the Ghost types like Annihilate in the way I talked about, right? You Earthquake into Boosted Earthquake from Terra Ground, or Golden Go, you knock it out with Earthquake anyway. So really good on offensive teams. Rotom is like the main answer to this. So if you want to counter for Iron Treads, Rotom is your main answer. Next up, we have a Leftovers, very similar variant. Leftovers still going to go like max speed with max attack and max speed, like I said, for special defense or defense. Leftovers is great for the longevity because you are coming in on Stealth Rock and Spikes for the most part. So this allows you to not only do that, but tank those hits. It's really good at also coming in on Pokemon like Screamtail. And because a lot of people like to use that with like Wish Encore in order to deal with like Annihilate and other setup mons. So it's going to come in on that. Leftovers for the longevity. Knockoff is nice because if your team is weak to Rotom, for instance, let's say you have a Dragon Dance Dragonite that might be Fire Terra type or normal Terra type, you still want to be able to deal with Rotom and wear it down. Knockoff is good. You're getting rid of items like that. You get rid of Rocky Helmet or Leftovers on Corviknight, which can help out your teammates that are physical attackers, such as Qianpao, or like I said, the Dragonite, or a King Gambit. So getting rid of the Rocky Helmet can really help those guys out. You still have the Earthquake support. And then you have Rapid Spin and Stealth Rock. Your Terra type on this, you can actually go flying. The reason you can go flying on this is because it will allow you to beat the other Paradox Donphan, which is Great Tusk. Both of them are amazing, by the way. Let me know if you guys want to see a Great Tusk moveset video guide. That mon has even more stuff it can do. And I do have a lot of sets for this Pokemon. But Flying Terra is pretty cool. Allows you to be immune to the Earthquake that you were otherwise weak to, and also resistant to fighting. So again, you beat Great Tusk 1v1, which is another very common, very good offensive stealth rocker, choice band, choice scarfer, everything Assault Vest user that people like to use. So Terra Flying just allows you to do that. It basically just lets you beat the hazard setters. Same thing like Glamora, though you got to be careful because Glamora can obviously go for Power Gem. If you Terra Flying, it is super effective. It won't kill you in one hit if you're at full though. I do want to note that while this is just max speed, max attack right now, as the metagame starts to shift, this is something that Xgiro ran, right? It ran something like this as well, with obviously Rock Tomb or Toxic over Knockoff or Ironhead. But the metagame may shift to a point where a special defensive, max HP, max special defense, Iron Treads might be better. Currently, right now, I think this is the better spread or the best spread that you can use for just max, simple. These are supposed to be simple moveset guides with a little bit of an understanding into the mod. But I do think that the metagame may shift to a point where maybe max HP, max special defense could be a little bit better for you. And it may end up, allowing you to live hits, basically. Like a Dragapult, Spec Shadow Ball, which is probably not 2-hit KO by if you have max HP, max special defense, plus a good Terra type, and things like that. But at the moment, you can do this. But if you want to experiment, I definitely try that out. Especially because it's not 2-hit KO by like Golden Go's Shadow Ball. So it has definitely use. So next up, we have a more bulkier one. This one can easily be ground or, like I said, flying. It's the same thing as last one, but more support. Flying again, so you can always spin very easily, and the max HP lets you take Great Tusks, close combats a lot better than you normally would, body presses, etc. But again, and that was more so talking about this, that if you want, you can definitely experiment a bit with the EV spread. I just like max speed always on this Pokemon. It just has a really good speed tier, being faster than all the Stealth Rock and Spikers for the most part. You just beat them all. Like, you don't beat, like this one beats like Garchomp, right? Because Garchomp can get Earthquake, it can Dragon Tail you out, but you can Earthquake and knock off its Rocky Helmet, wrap it away its hazards, get up Stealth Rock in front. That's why Terra Flying is really good on the support ones, because it allows them to just beat the hazard setters. So, really like this one as well. Max HP just for the longevity. If you look at the OU metagame, some things that max HP, and again, you beat Clodsire, so let's just beat all the hazard setters. But max HP can allow you to basically tank Golden Go's hits a little bit better. Focus Blast won't kill you from full, which is a pretty big deal when it comes to this Pokemon, unless it's Terra Fighting, of course. And also, if you Terra Flying in your max HP, you can even live like an Iron Moth hit and knock it out with like a Iron Moth Flamethrower Fiery Dance, and obviously you can knock it out with Earthquake from there, assuming you've Terastallized, of course. And next up, we have the Focus Sash Anti-Lead. This is literally Excadrill. This is if you're running straight up offense, right? Again, this is literally Excadrill's set, right? If you want a fast Pokemon that's faster than Garchomp, faster than Glamora, gets rid of Toxic Spike from Toxic Debris, this is your Stealth Rocker. Same sets as before, but it's Focus Sash now. So it's dedicated as a Stealth Rocker. And this is the type of Pokemon that you'll run with like a Grimmsnarl to set up Light Screen Reflect, and then a bunch of setup mons like Bulk Up Annihilate, Dragon Edge, Dragonite, the Quiver Dance Volk forms, or Volcarona, Quiver Dance Volcarona, just things like that, right? Like a Nasty Plot, Air Balloon, Golden Go, just Pokemon that can set up Baxcalibur, Pokemon that can set up and appreciate Stealth Rock being there, and also appreciate hazards being gone. So Roaring Moon and Quaquaval are also Pokemon you can use with it, especially with dual screens. And you have Ghost Terra type, and the reason you have Ghost Terra type is because Great Tusk can't spin on you if you have Ghost Terra type. Now, if you have Flying Terra type, it doesn't hit you for much because you resist its hits, but then it can still Rapid Spin until you die. So by having Ghost Terra type, you keep up rocks, and you can also Rapid Spin and get rid of their own hazards. Again, Knockoff can be used over Ironhead if you want. I like Ironhead just for being able to hit the Fairy weak Pokemon, right? That's a big thing. A lot of people like to Dynamax into Fairy types because Fairy is really good neutral. I like it because it's like you're dealing massive damage to something like Iron Valiant, which could otherwise, knock you out with an Aura Sphere or close combat. It is naturally faster, and no one's going to assume Scarf on Iron Treads, even though Scarf is a viable set, in my opinion. Speaking of, I knew it'd come up next. We have Choice Scarf Iron Treads. Now, why would you use Choice Scarf Iron Treads? Faster than the two most common Scarfers in the tier right now. The two most common Scarfers in the tier right now are Golden Go and Chi-Yu. You're faster than them, and you knock them out with your Earthquakes, especially if you do Terra Ground. It's very, very strong with Terra Ground. Like something like Dragapult, for instance, I believe dies with Stealth Rock up when it comes to a Terra Ground Earthquake. So that's just how strong it is. Iron Head is your secondary stab. Heavy Slam can always be slashed on this Pokemon, I think. But the main reason I don't like something like Heavy Slam is because it doesn't do a lot to something like Garganical or Garganachi, as my friends like to say. And you might be like, you can Earthquake it for super effective damage. Sure, but if they Terra Fairy, like I want to be able to hit it for consistent 80 base damage. But Heavy Slam is still decently strong versus a few other Pokemon. I just think Iron Head is just better. Ice Spinner is there, as Ice Spinner allows you to deal with Garchomp. Super effective versus Dragapult, super effective versus Breloom, especially if you Terra Ground, like Mach Punch is not going to knock you out. and you know, just the dragons in general, Dragonite, Garchomp, and then of course you have, wow, why did I absolutely skip it? Yeah, Dragapult, I already mentioned it. So they're literally all together. What am I saying? They're literally all three grouped up together. So Ice is good, Roaring Moon type of thing as well, super effective, and you know, nice, super effective on Tinglu as well. But for the most part, your Terra Ground is what you're going to be clicking. And then you have Knockoff. I will say that you can potentially slash Ice Spinner with Rapid Spin. Fast Rapid Spin support is a nice bailout versus like Hyper Offense that really likes to just set up spikes and Stealth Rock and stuff with their Garchomp or Glamorales or their Tinglu. So a fast Rapid Spin can be clutch for your team if you think that too. So if you want to get rid of a move, I definitely do Ice Spinner just because Iron Head, Earthquake, Iron Head, and Knockoff has just insanely good coverage. You don't really need Ice Spinner, so Rapid Spin can definitely be a thing here. But if not, Ice Spinner, awesome move. Also, obviously, Break Star Rain as well, which I don't think matters as much right now. In Ubers, it definitely matters, which is where the legendaries are played. But I think when in the VGC meta where you are actually able to use these Pokemon eventually, like right now, the Paradoxes are banned, but you know they'll be allowed with Legends at some point, I'm assuming. Ice Spinner is going to be good there too. And then we have Assault Vest. Again, Assault Vest can definitely run different EVs to be able to tank hits. The one quirk of Assault Vest is Quirk Drive. The one quirk of Assault Vest is that not only does this thing still Rapid Spin and give support for your team, but it also has Volt Switch to have momentum. So this is like really good utility, right? It really puts it over something like Extra Drill because Knockoff, something that Extra Drill doesn't have. Still has Rapid Spin, has Stab Earthquake, and Volt Switch is really, really cool. The fact that they gave Donphan momentum move, I think, is super cool. So Volt Switch is great because even though you only have 72 base special attack, it's not about doing damage. It's about keeping momentum up for your team. So for instance, your opponent has a Corviknight. You have Stealth Rock and Spike Up or whatever, and Iron Treads literally baits in Corviknight. Well, you go for Volt Switch, Corviknight comes out, you know, you do like 20%, something like that. But the important part is you've kept up your hazards because now you can go out to something like a Chi-Yu or anything that can be really offensive and just do damage. I like this too because it baits in Rotom, right? So you get rid of Rotom's leftovers one, and then later you can Volt Switch on it. And I mean, you can Volt Switch on most because if you knocked off a Rotom, you're always faster than Rotom, right? It'll never be faster than you if you've already knocked it out. Only way Rotom can be faster than Iron Treads is having Choice Scarf. If you knocked it off, it doesn't have Choice Scarf anymore. So knock off, Volt Switch, beautiful momentum, beautiful, just a nice little blanket check for things on the team, and then Earthquake, of course. Your Terra type on this one doesn't have to be ground. I've seen people run Terra Fairy on this just for the resistances. I've also seen Terra, what was the other one for the ice moves that were coming out? Yeah, I saw Terra Fighting as well, though it doesn't really have much for that. But Terra Water, that was the one I was talking about. So I saw Terra Water as well, and Terra Water will allow you to obviously resist those water moves coming out at you, like Rotom's Hydro Pump, for instance, just to get some extra chip damage, but also like Ice Spinner from Chien-Pao, Flamethrower from Chi-Yu. So I think water is really good on this one. And obviously Dark Pulse can't kill you from Chi-Yu either. And you kill it back with Earthquake, right? Just because you're a strong attacker. So Terra Water is definitely a really good option on this. And of course, just giving you Rapid Spin support. And then lastly, we have Choice Band. Now, I don't think Choice Band's very good on this Pokemon. And even though it's like the only way you're boosting your attack and you have a really good attack stat anyway, the main reason I don't think it's very good is because if you want to use Choice Band on a Donphan form, you'd use it on Great Tusk. It's just stronger. And also that mon has booster energy to actually boost its attack. This one can boost energy its attack, but only, you know, only if it goes Adamant. And if it goes Adamant, it misses out on some crazy speed tiers, right? Like you definitely want to go Jolly almost always on this Pokemon. Unless, like I said before, if the meta game comes to a point where special defensive is good, which there's meta games where extra drills like that is really good, with like Protect, or like Earthquake, knock off Rapid Spin, Protect, which could be pretty decent on this guy. With the Spidef set, I think that actually is a pretty decent set. Then, yeah, you'll do that. But the idea behind Choice Band is that it's the only way to really boost your attack. Besides an Adamant nature with a booster energy, and that's only a 1.3 times boost on stats that are not speed, so you don't really want to go for that anyway on this Pokemon in particular. And then you just hit Clarity hard, right? You definitely go Terra Ground because a 100 base power Earthquake that's not 1.5 times boosted but 2 times boosted because you tear it into your same type is insanely strong. You have Knockoff, and then you have Iron Head, your other stab, and then Ice Spinner, of course. I think you want to go full on offensive. I don't think you waste Rapid Spin on this one. You want to do as much damage as possible. But that's basically what I have for you guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you let me know. Leave a like. Later today, I'll have a Showdown Live up where I feature some Pokemon. No idea which one I'm featuring yet because it's like 3 a.m. when I'm recording this. And then I have a Wi-Fi battle in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet 66 where I use the Scoville and Sun team. So stay tuned for that. I have a tournament game link down below where I use Iron Treads. Very, very, very good versus offense, and you guys will see it actually put in work. That's all I have for y'all. So I'll see y'all next time. Peace.